Sparkle.
Yeah.
Shine. Gotta shine. Hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Mark.
And this is SmokeySteveAndMarc.
Yes, it is.
Welcome or welcome back.
Yes. Howdy, howdy, ho.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy hump day.
Hump day.
Hump day.
Thank God. Thank God. I have 3 more hours of work for this year, and then I'm done. Tomorrow.
I have 5 hours to go.
Not bad. We're getting there.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
And then it'll be adios 2020.
And another long weekend. Oh, and yes, and goodbye to 2020.
Thank God. Don't let it hit you in the ass on the way out.
Yeah, I know, right? I know.
I'm thinking of all now those New Year's rituals my mother used to always do to like ensure good luck in the new year.
Yeah.
Like a dark-haired man had to be the first one to come in the house and put a bunch of money and jewelry in the windows.
Oh
and,
yeah,
and, like,
line up the coins on the windowsill. Yes.
Leave the back door.
That's the one I
to
do.
let the old year out, and the front door open to let the new
year
in.
in.
There's all sorts of ones. I'm sure you have your own, but there's all sorts of them.
Yeah.
Right? So preparing for the new year, I think we're gonna go full on dark arts, white witch,
we
Celtic,
need
whatever
we need to do.
Rosaries, whatever faith tradition I can think of that we have the paraphernalia for.
Yes,
we're doing.
Right?
You never know what might stick.
Yeah.
So
right. Hey, couldn't hurt.
Couldn't hurt.
Definitely couldn't hurt.
Might help.
No, I'm very, very excited. I am determined. 2021 is going to be better than 2020, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's our year to shine.
It is.
Make sure you better shine, people.
Shine.
So bright it burns their fucking eyes.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
in the meantime...
Yeah, I thought, today, we thought we would do some real talk, because, whereas, the holidays can be, like, really a source of joy for many, many, many people, but it's not always so, well, merry and bright for everyone, especially those with a substance use disorder. Mm-hmm. And their families.
Yeah, families, friends. Now, this is a jumping off point for Mark and I, because in case you guys didn't know, we met in rehab.
We did.
At Christmas time.
Yes, we did.
So, I had actually at the rehab, I spent Thanksgiving, and then we spent Christmas, and then... No, you were there for Thanksgiving too, right?
I was there for Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
I came
Christmas,
the day after Halloween.
Mm-hmm. So...
And then I left before New Year's.
So things start under the strangest of circumstances sometimes.
Yeah, they do.
But having issues with... My drug of choice was alcohol, yours was opiates.
Yeah.
But irregardless, holidays bring up times of people hanging out with people that you normally don't, sometimes going back and hanging out with old friends.
Yeah.
Being around situations where people who don't normally drink are drinking, sometimes to excess. Traveling, driving. So there's a lot of moving parts with it. So thinking out about just how it could be challenging for a person with a substance use issue, but for their family.
Yeah.
For a person who's in recovery, navigating, I think we're between Christmas and New Year's now. New Year's is notoriously a big go-out night. Yeah. Big night for DUIs.
Yes. There's always a party night for me, too.
Party night. The biggest party night, from my understanding, is the night before Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
That's when people go ape shit for drinkers.
It was never a big one for me, but I understand for drinkers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Well, that's the one that seems to get the most attention when you think holidays. You think parties of this kind and that kind. Yeah. But... other addicts don't stop.
Right.
Heroin dependence doesn't stop because it's Christmas.
No,
it doesn't take Black Friday off to shop.
Right. And those of us who are in sobriety can also, it doesn't always have to be the environment or the people that you're with sometimes. And I mean, this holds true for everybody, but I think especially for those with... who are addicts and who are in recovery, it can bring up a lot of old emotions too around the holidays. You may have a loved one that's no longer with you. There's so many facets to it. That we're gonna try to just have an open discussion about, and we like to do these real talks because if it remains hidden, you never talk about it, and it's very difficult to come up with a solution or any type of any type of ways to get through it, or
strategies
and the stigma. It's hard to break the stigma. It is.
Whenever you're thinking, am I the only one who's ever felt this way? No.
Right.
No, you're not. I love you, honey, but you're not that special. You're not the only person who's ever felt this way before.
Yeah.
Others have. Maybe I haven't, but maybe your neighbor has. Maybe a friend of yours has. So.
And I have some notes. I have some electronic notes now instead of writing them down.
You've gone very high tech.
I have.
I've gone old school. He's gone high tech.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm going to keep it on paper next time. But just a couple things so I could refer to and didn't want to forget, you know, because I do think this is an important topic, and I don't think it's talked about enough. I know that we're hearing more and more of it in recent years. We are, you know, but I don't know. I think it's an important one to talk about. I do, especially around the holidays, and even more especially with New Year's coming.
I know.
Gosh, you know, that's a biggie.
That is the big one. That is a huge one.
Is.
Oh, what are you doing New Year's? It feels so final. How are you going to wrap up the year?
Right.
And I remember I used to participate in a 12-step program, and they would have marathon meetings on New Year's. So people who go that route for sobriety, there's some places to go.
Oh,
I mean,
is.
if you're in a bigger city, there is. Around here, you can round robin, sit in church basements, and drink coffee. But it's a place to go. It's somewhere to be other than a bar.
Yeah.
So there are some choices like that. But sometimes you're just left to your own devices, and you're having your club soda with lime or your Diet Coke, and you're at the party in the corner, and you're playing with the dog.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're anything like me, when you're right uncomfortable at the party, you start playing with the pets,
Yeah.
because the people are making you sick, because you just don't want to.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
this year in particular,
Yeah.
I think it's important to talk about too, because a lot of us have found ourselves isolated and alone just because of the pandemic that we're dealing with, you know. So you know, you factor all of that into it, and it could be a bad scenario, you know. But I think first, why don't we kick it off like exciting? We have some business to take care of.
We do have some business to attend to. So before we try to get to some solutions and
Yeah.
some parts of the discussion, let's do something easy breezy. We
Okay.
have a winner to pick.
We do.
From yesterday's contest, yesterday's
we
giveaway.
do.
Now, do you want to explain what the gifts
Mystery
were?
holiday giveaway. Oh yeah,
And I
it
will
was
get the
our
apparatus to pick the
gift
winner.
card bundle was up for grabs yesterday, and it was a $10 Amazon card, a $5 Dunkin' Donuts card, a $15 Walmart card, and a $10 Starbucks card, all together for one winner. To enter, you just had to comment below yesterday's video. Steven has the comment picker all loaded here. You do, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
commonpicker.com/YouTube.
Yeah.
Use it all the time.
He will take it from here.
All right. Simple for anyone who's not familiar. Copy the URL from the video you want the comments from. You can use it on Facebook too. Copy and paste it. There were 98 commenters. So even if you commented more than once, you only were
commenters. That's really cool.
And start the raffle, pick random winner. So here we go.
And
then all your names start going like this once it loads.
I think it's so cool.
Winner is Kathy Tokar.
Kathy Tokar!
And your comment was unbelievably flattering to us. My
Was
favorite
it?
guys, first, congratulations on the engagement. I was so thrilled for both of you. Hope the new year brings good health, happiness for you both. I received your card yesterday.
Oh, cool. That's
good.
Woo. Thank goodness.
Tell your friends because they're creeping. Thank you. I look forward to watching you every evening. You're my bright light. 69 years young and have been a widow for the past 16.
Nice.
I have 2 wonderful daughters and 8 grandchildren, but I'm willing to adopt you 2 guys anytime. Bless you both and take care of each other, Kathy.
You're
the
very
winner,
nice.
Kathy.
Thank you. Congratulations. You won. So shoot us an email or we'll try to get in touch with you, and I can do this all electronically. I can send it all to your email if you want, or I can mail them in the mail too. Either way, whatever you want. But
Good stuff, and
congratulations. Thanks everyone who entered, okay? Still have a couple days left. You never know. As a matter of fact, check out our Facebook page, because tomorrow, first thing in the morning, we're going to have another mystery giveaway, but it's going to be on our Facebook page, okay? We have our Every Plate box came today. You know, Every Plate, the meal subscription box.
Yeah.
And I guess because we're such great customers, they gifted us 3 more boxes to give away.
Free.
Not only that, one of our fellow viewers also joined Every Plate. They were gifted 3 boxes. They shot me an email and said they would love to pay it forward, and we could give hers away to our viewers too. We have 6 free boxes up for grabs. I'll post it on Facebook tomorrow, okay? Check it out.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Nice.
I like Every Plate.
I do
good.
too.
Not sponsored, but they're good.
They're good.
I like them.
They're good. They're no frills.
No frills.
Just very
very
easy to
affordable.
navigate. Very easy. The menu's great.
And you can
I love
shove
them.
the whole box unemptied into the fridge. It takes up so much less room than
It does.
HelloFresh.
Yeah.
Full stop, period.
We dig it.
So-
We like it a lot. All right,
All right.
so to the topic at hand.
To
We're
the
going to have
topic.
some real talk addiction around the holidays.
Now, I'm flashing back to my own because I'm in recovery and I maintained relationships with my family. So I never had the intervention where I was cut off. So I was more or less present for most holidays in the loosest sense of the terms. I was living with my parents through a lot of the ones that would have been sort of considered rough during addiction.
Yeah.
And by and large, I was upstairs in a room drunk to myself and would stagger down periodically to say hello to relatives and then go back up and leave. Puts families in awkward positions. You know, if you're the drunk family member or you're the addict in the family and people kind of nervously laugh and then whisper in the kitchen about what the hell you've been doing all year because they know what you've been doing all year and it's nothing but using or drinking. You've had 8 jobs in 4 months. You know, they kind of... No one asks what you've been doing at Christmas dinner because they know. Yeah. They know. No one says, what have you done this year? You're the single, childless one.
Yeah, right.
Just talking out loud.
Yeah, it's true.
So families can have a hard time coping with it, too.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
it's difficult for the... we'll just say addict, and that includes alcohol and everything. You know,
yeah, addict sums it up nicely because it includes everything.
It's very difficult for the addict too. I remember being extremely uncomfortable around the holidays when I was using, and didn't know what to do. Should I show up? Shouldn't I? There were times I just didn't show up because I was either high or I was not high and not feeling so hot, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So holidays have always been a struggle, especially when I was in active addiction for myself, you know. And there's a lot of regret and a lot of sad feelings tied up with the holidays with me pertaining to addiction.
Yeah.
You know, not being there for Christmas because of my addiction, or being there and being high and kind of making a mess of things.
Yeah.
You know, like you were talking about everyone like kind of whispering and talking. It's very uncomfortable for everyone, the addict and the people who were involved.
Yeah.
You know? You want to come up?
I couldn't decide some of the time which was the graver sin. Not showing up or showing up in the condition that I was in.
Exactly.
You know, I was a nightmare of selfishness when I was drinking, but I wasn't totally off planet Earth. I had some vague idea that what I was doing was not only hurting me, but I couldn't decide which was worse. I thought, I'll just stay away.
Yeah.
I just won't be around it. It's better than going downstairs and falling over the table and knocking down a 2-year-old. You know, I thought I was doing the right thing by avoiding family functions.
I'm glad you said that too.
I thought I was doing the right thing.
A lot of times people will think that, you know, it doesn't have anything to do with love. It doesn't. It ripped my heart out sometimes not to be able to be there for a holiday because I was high or in withdrawal or something, you know, but you know, the feelings were still there. And I think that's important to point out, you know, because a lot of times, depending on what stage kind of they are in their addiction, you other people tend to think, oh, I know exactly what they're thinking, or they didn't come to Christmas because they don't love us, they don't care about us, they don't, you know, it's not always like that, you know, it's not.
It's not. So there's, you know, the perspective of the family with the person who's still actively using. There's also families who have recovering family members. But there's also the hesitancy to kind of not want to say the wrong thing. And I think people stumble over it. Like, okay, Steve's coming. Steve doesn't drink. We all remember the last time Steve drank. Yeah. It was kind of a mess. It made the news. Not the television news. So we're serving alcohol. Do we invite him? If we invite him, do we have to watch him? Is he going to be able to watch himself? Do we trust him to handle his own affairs? We've trusted him before around alcohol and he's made a mess. So should he even come at all?
So what do family members do in that situation?
Talk about it. Say something. Say something. It'll be far less... That 2-minute awkward conversation will be far less awkward than 4 hours of watching my glass during dinner. Yeah. Trust me, it will be so much more seamless to do it that way.
Very true.
Also, with that back and forth, respect that, I mean, a good idea for any addict if you're going to a family function, even if you just have a strained relationship with your family, drive yourself. Yeah. So you can get the hell out of there when you need to, if you need to, because things come up. Even if you're in recovery, you may have done quite a bit of damage to your family. You could be 20 years sober. I knew a guy one time in the rooms, and he had 30 years, and he would tell you about what a humble guy he was for an hour. He wasn't so humble. And he said, my kids still won't talk to me. It's been 30 years. And I was like, that's because you're a dick. That's not because you've been sober 30 years. It ain't your drinking anymore.
Right.
But people do carry old wounds. It's not like I'm sober now, so it's all forgiven.
So everything is, it never happened.
It never happened. It's like 2006 through 2012 didn't take place.
Right.
So families need time of their own. If you're going home for your first sober Thanksgiving or your first sober Christmas and you're seeing anybody, you know, expect that they might be suspicious.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You can tell when they're sniffing when they hug you. It's, you know, they kind of know.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So from that end, you know, families can be supportive about that. I definitely am a big advocate for drive yourself. And families also need to understand if I can't be around alcohol, I can't. Like, there was a couple weddings I had to miss in the early 2010s that were family weddings that I wanted to go to, but it was just too soon.
Yeah, it was.
It was too soon.
I think that is, that brings up a very good discussion about boundaries. And, I mean, at first I'm talking about, like me, or you, the person who is in recovery or struggling. You know, you have to set up your own boundaries as well. And the family does too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, both sides have to set up boundaries. And I have, you know, some things here that I didn't want to forget to mention because these little things helped me so much. You know, like it says here, the combination of a family and alcohol can be especially triggering, especially around the holidays. Mm-hmm. So if being around your family is not good for your mental health, you know, consider arranging your own transportation, consider leaving early, or if it makes more sense, simply skip the gathering altogether. It may seem harsh, but setting these boundaries and sticking to them does get easier over time whenever you do them, and is actually better off for everybody in the long run. It was for me. Mm-hmm. It was for me.
Yeah, I think the boundaries, that also kind of, someone said one time, you teach people how to treat you. So when you set boundaries and you hold them, people don't tend to walk all over you as much.
Right.
But remember, you know, to set boundaries you can keep. Mm-hmm. Like if you said, okay, you're out of the house, this is what we've arranged, and you will not be coming back until you're sober. You don't crack because it's Christmas. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? If that's the boundary you've set. Now, if you've set the boundary of, okay, we'll see you on Christmas, but not for the next 4 months, then that's, never agree to something you can't do.
Right.
You know, don't play a tough ass if you're gonna cave on it. Mm-hmm. It's okay to be the kind of person that caves. You set different boundaries. Mm-hmm. You know, you said, I won't give you money. I won't give you this.
And I had to learn that too. A lot of my physical problems right now with the rheumatoid arthritis, I kind of had to learn when to say no to and set up some boundaries with that. There are some days that, you know, we may have planned something for an entire month, you know, an event or maybe a visit with family or something. And I woke up that day and I physically can't do it because of my sickness and have to say, I can't come. You know, you know, I kind of had to learn that over the last couple years and try to remove some of the guilt from that.
We had a family wedding that you missed that was out of state. Yeah. But, I mean,
I couldn't.
But what could
you
do?
It?
You can't do it.
Right.
It's not a moral issue. It's not a blame. You just couldn't go.
But it all comes back to communication.
Exactly. It's a taboo topic, and it shouldn't be. Right. That doesn't need to be screamed across the street.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Just because it's not taboo doesn't mean you scream it from one end of the table to the other and let everybody know what's going on. It just means these are uncomfortable discussions, and of course they're going to be uncomfortable discussions.
Yeah.
But if you have them, it can help avoid uncomfortable situations, long, protracted, uncomfortable situations.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably the easiest going forward. Mm-hmm. I have a much easier, more matter-of-fact time with my family now, saying I don't think I'm gonna stay for this, or I think we're gonna leave early. And yes, guilt. I'm Irish Catholic. Guilt just bleeds out of the walls.
It just does. It does. But it has gotten a little bit easier too. Mm-hmm. Now that that people are kind of acclimated to it a little bit, you
Yeah.
know, over the years and things like that. You know, people understand.
Well, that's the difference.
You feel a little less guilty.
They understand. It's
like,
beyond just accepting, well, this is what Steve needs to do. It's like, oh, I understand.
I get it.
That he needs to do this to stay well so that he can be present for X, Y, and Z other portions of his life.
Right.
You know, it's not worth it for me to go to, like, you know, a high school reunion and, you know, tie one on.
Yeah.
And then what? Lose my job because I wanted to show off?
Right.
Yeah, that's not worth it.
Yep.
And with addiction, people can get concerned, point fingers. Are you drinking too much? Am I drinking too much? How much are you drinking?
Right.
I'm counting your drinks. I should count my drinks. People without drinking problems don't generally count their drinks. Just point of reference.
Well, yeah, no.
Yeah, just generally, you know.
Yeah.
And there's not really such a thing as a social crack smoker. Just to put that in perspective, I only use heroin on the weekends. Yeah. Some things don't quite work like that either.
So some tips for, you know, people who are in recovery and are, you know, maybe heading to do something on New Year's Eve or anything around the holidays, some gatherings. These tips have worked for me, and I thought I'd share them very, very quickly. You know, one of the ones that was pretty important to me, probably the most important one, is to stay connected to your sober network. For me, it's Steven. Support has been my number one my number one thing that has kept me on the straight and narrow. And my main support is Steven. I also have support where I work, of course. I also have support with a few friends and of course your parents, and you know, I have a very, very good network of people around me that I got to keep close, you know, and that does not exclude the time of the holidays. In fact, it makes it even a little bit more, you know, important. Another thing that works for me is I got to keep my self-care routine going. The things that I do throughout the rest of the year to stay sane, to stay sober, I have to do them through the holidays as well. You know, I know it's very easy to be like, oh, I'm not making the bed today. Or, you know what, the dishes are out there, I'm not going to do it. Now, I know I'm saying something like make the bed and the dishes, but for me, if I don't stay on top of that stuff, it messes with my mind a little bit. And all of a sudden, those little kind of almost frivolous little things become this huge thing in my head, and whoosh, you know, it can make it so much worse, you know. We already talked about this, but make and stick to boundaries. Absolutely. You know, that's something that we had to do ourselves, you know. I mean, not to get too personal, but I'll say my side of it. You know, one of the boundaries we had when getting together was, look, if you drink, I cannot be in the same house with you, you know. And it was a tough one to come up with, you know, because, like, I don't want to leave my house, or I don't want him to have to leave the house. I don't really want to be apart, period, you know. But it's one of the boundaries that we had set up ahead of time, you know. For me, that means I have a little, okay, I know what to do if this happens. For him, it might give him that split second of, you know, that little bit of time that he needs. Oh, yeah, you know what? If I do this, if I drink, I got to go somewhere else. You know, I'm not going to be welcome in our own home. You know, that was one of the boundaries that we set up. We never really had to use it, thank God, you know. But it was just one of the boundaries that we put up. Through the holidays, keeping myself busy. Wasn't really hard this holiday.
That wasn't much of a damn issue.
Right.
Have you seen the place?
This year, if you find yourself isolated and alone, like we talked about at the beginning, do something to stay busy. Don't get up in your head. Distraction. You know me. Pick up a craft, you know, maybe go cook something, go bake something, you know, staying busy, you know, and reach out if you're in crisis. Actually, I should say reach out even before the crisis hits.
At the first whiff of something.
Reach out.
Somebody.
Absolutely reach out. And then just some little ones that I have to distance myself from triggering people. We all have that friend that just pushes our buttons, right? We all have some YouTube personalities that push our buttons.
Hello.
I have to distance myself from those people, especially around the holidays. There's a lot going on during the holidays, and that can be something that'll set me right off, you know. be aware of your triggers. That's a
Yeah.
that's a given. You know what sets you off. You know what triggers you.
I've been dying with all this hand sanitizer everywhere. It
I
reeks of
can't
vodka.
imagine.
Every
I
doorway
can't
reeks
imagine.
of vodka.
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't have to go out much.
And I work in a doctor's office that specializes in addiction, alcoholism, opiate use. All of our hand sanitizers, it smells like straight up vodka. And it's really, really, really something else, And then, the last thing I put on there was to have an accountable buddy with me. And that's him. I hold myself accountable to him. And he holds himself accountable to me too,
Mm-hmm.
I am not making a decision for myself anymore. What I do directly affects the person that I'm spending my life with, So they were just some of my tips I jotted down.
Mm-hmm.
Now that was for as an addict, so.
Well, I think that's, and fine. Also, enjoy, the holidays as
You're
best
allowed
you can.
to enjoy
And
the holidays.
and understand that this video on this topic of addiction is happening under the bigger umbrella of a pandemic. So this is not
Absolutely.
lost. It even reiterates it because, how many people are sitting around Zooming and guzzling wine?
True.
Crisis brings out things in people that may have been flickering under the surface and otherwise wouldn't come out.
Mm-hmm.
So you lock entire large populations of people in for 10 months, and people that didn't have problems adjusting to life suddenly do. And suddenly find new, possibly unhealthy ways to cope.
Yeah.
So some stuff might bubble to the surface for some of us that maybe wasn't there before.
Mm-hmm.
So self-awareness, having the accountability buddy, I always like to think of it as that one friend who will call you on your shit.
Yeah.
Everyone needs that one friend that will say, you are full of shit.
Mm-hmm.
This is what's actually happening.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need 8 of those friends, but you need at least one.
You need at least one.
You need at least one. And they can say it lovingly, or they can curse you out, however, but you need to hear it.
Always the person that you are in a relationship as well.
No.
I mean, it took us a while to get to the point where we can call ourselves out on our shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't want to hurt his feelings, or he didn't want to upset me, or he didn't da-da-da-da,
Yeah.
But the bigger picture in that is that if I don't, what will happen?
Yeah.
Like, you got to keep things into perspective, really,
Mm-hmm.
what's important, what's not. But do you have anything for like the common question we get a lot of in emails are like, I have a family member who is da-da-da-da, what do I do? What do I do? I know we touched upon it a little bit earlier. But
off and on, because it comes up so often.
it does. It does.
It's
a hard position to be in. It is.
It is. And situations are like snowflakes. Like, I don't, like, your journey to getting into recovery was kind of self-directed once you were out of a long-term relationship and didn't really have any family connection.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of found your way from help to help, and
Right.
then whatever stuck, and then you eventually started getting better.
Yeah.
I was at home for mine. I had some of my, freedoms cut off, because if I'm going to treat my parents like parents, and they're going to treat me like a child because I've acted like one.
Yeah.
So I stayed at home, and they let me live there, and they fed me and threw me cigarettes and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, that was a boundary they had with me. So different families are different. You can stay but no money. You
Mm-hmm.
can't stay here, but we'll pay your rent for your apartment. I had a lot of rich friends that were addicts.
Mm-hmm.
Bastards. Why couldn't I drink in a penthouse?
Yeah.
But anyway, it's so challenging to know what to do, and each situation is so different.
It's so different.
It's hard to
unique,
say, stage an intervention and put them out, because I've seen that happen, and I've seen people get wonderful recovery afterwards. Yeah. And I've seen other people disappear a week later, and then they find them 3 weeks later in a car in a parking lot.
Yeah, each situation is unique. I do think that the main thing is to communicate.
Communicate as best you can. Get a mediator to help you communicate.
Absolutely.
It doesn't have to be a therapist. Go to your
Absolutely.
pastor. Go to whoever you're connected with in your community. Some people don't like psychiatrists. I can't blame you. I can't blame you. But find a mediator if you can. A family member who likes both of you and can help you sit down and talk a little bit.
Yeah.
To figure a strategy
definitely.
out. And you can't force them to get help, but you can encourage them.
Mm-hmm.
That's sometimes as much as you can do.
Yeah,
So.
definitely. They say that, addiction is a family disease, and it is.
Mm-hmm.
It affects every person in your family. So, reaching out for help and talking to other people Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It really does need to happen, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be the hush-hush secret that it is either. And it
Mhm.
happens in a lot of families, too.
Yeah.
They're almost embarrassed to talk about it. They're very scared to talk about it.
What do the neighbors think?
What do
What
the
do the
neighbors
Joneses think?
And, like, I could very well see, like, a mother feeling incredibly guilty that her son is an addict and take the blame and put it on herself,
Mm-hmm.
which is a whole nother way of looking at it.
Yeah.
You know, blaming yourself for somebody else's addiction.
Yeah.
So there's, like he said, there's so many different scenarios and every person is very unique. But
Mm-hmm.
what we are going to do is in the description below, we're going to put a couple links and some phone numbers.
Mm-hmm.
One of them's for SAMHSA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the 24-hour helpline.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can call it anytime. There's also a texting one now.
The crisis text line.
Yep.
Text home to 741-741.
Yeah.
You can speak to a crisis counselor via text, because who the hell wants to be on the phone anymore, so we might as well text.
We might as well text. It's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful service.
It's great. It's far enough
It is.
removed, and it's got trained folks on the other end.
Yeah.
So.
It's really, really great. So we'll put all that in the description below, too. All right?
All right.
That'll be really good,
Mhm.
I think. Perfect. Hi, everybody. Mark here with another holiday vignette for you. Oh, yes, it's our last holiday vignette of the season. Aww. And I think we saved the best for last, too. We really hope you enjoyed the vignettes this year. They were super fun to make. Oh my gosh. And I said this is the best, right? And I don't know, we'll let you be the judge of that, okay? I have a great recipe hack for you. This is going to be perfect for your New Year's Eve celebration or your New Year's Day celebration or what the heck, all year long you can make these because these are super easy, super delicious. Oh yeah, we're gonna make some lemony ricotta beignets. Oh yeah, are you ready? All right. So for this recipe, you will need 1/2 cup of whole milk ricotta cheese. You'll need 1/4 cup of cream cheese and bring that to room temperature. You'll need the zest from 1 whole lemon. Plus you'll need about 1/2 to 1 full tablespoon of lemon juice. Then you'll need 1 tablespoon of honey. And then you'll need some refrigerated buttermilk biscuits. You can get 2 cans, and they're about 16.3 ounces each. That'll be about 16 total. You'll need some vegetable oil for the deep frying, and then you'll also need some powdered sugar, okay? All right, so let me get this out of the way here, and then we're going to get started. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is open up our biscuits and set them out on a nice clean surface that you put a little bit of flour on just so they don't stick, all right? And then we're going to roll them out so that they are just about twice the size that they originally were, okay? Now, while you're doing this, preheat your oil and bring it up to 350 degrees. Now, the easiest way to do that is with a probe thermometer there, okay? Some fancy-dancy stoves, you know, you can set the temperature right on the top of your stove, but you really want to keep it right around 350 degrees, okay? That'll be your oil for deep frying. Our oil is all preheated and ready to go. And I think our dough is ready too. Oh yeah, it is. Okay, so now we have this all ready to go. Now over here, I had put all of our wet ingredients. That would be our ricotta, our honey. What else was in there? We have some lemon zest, lemon juice. We have all of that in there, and I mixed it with a hand mixer until it is nice and smooth, okay? Don't forget the cream cheese, because I just did. All right, so as you can see, it's nice and smooth and ready to go, all right? Now we're going to put 1 dollop in the center of our dough. I found that a tablespoon works perfect for this, okay? Then it's as simple as this, y'all. Fold it over in half like that, and then take a knife, cut the round edges off, just like so. Kind of make a rectangle there, okay? And then we're going to pinch the edges, okay? You just want to make sure you pinch them all the way around because we don't want any of that good filling, like, you know, coming all out there. We want it to be in there. All right, let me see. We good here? Oh, looks like we're good. All right. I have one made here. One made there. All right. Now it's as easy as this. Once your oil is preheated, we're going to drop it into the oil. Give it a little and drop it. And then you're going to want to let it deep fry about 1 minute to 2 minutes on each side, okay? Until it's nice and golden brown. Now, if some of your filling starts to leak out, you'll hear it. It'll start to bubble. Don't worry, you're okay. There's nothing wrong with it. You don't have to call the fire department or anything. Everything is totally fine. And I have found, too, if you had some old chopsticks at home or even some wooden dowels, these make perfect flippers, because essentially we're actually kind of making a donut here, right? So we want to flip them over halfway through, and it's really as easy as this, you know. I probably should have let it go a little, but I'm trying to hurry. But see, you just flip it over like that. All right. Okay, now let me get that. While that's cooking, get yourself a container like this, all right, because we're going to put it in afterwards, and get some powdered sugar and put it in a sifter like this, because we're going to dust it with powdered sugar. You know, you can't have a beignet without powdered sugar, right? I mean, that's probably one of the most important ingredients to it. Just my opinion. People can, you know. All right, so that's ready to go. Let's see how we're doing here. Check it. Ooh, it's looking good. All right. So now we're going to remove it from the oil. Like my scooper there. Yeah, I don't have an actual deep fryer scooper duper. All right, so we're going to put it right into our container like that. And while it's still warm, heavily dust it with your powdered sugar. Oh, yes, yes, yes. That's all there is to it. Take a look at those. This one right on top there. Oh, yeah. We are ready to go. I hope you give this a try at home. But more than that, I hope you have a very, very happy new year, everybody, okay? See you next time. I mean,
Yeah.
So I think that obviously we didn't cover every single thing, you know, but I do think we had a very nice discussion.
No, there's a lot of points that can come up, and I think
Yeah.
the bottom line for all of them is communicate, however uncomfortable, weird,
too.
or delicate it may be, to try to negotiate that.
Yeah.
To try to
I agree.
keep an open line as best you can.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and on that note,
yeah, there's like,
really
I guess
good.
we have
There's
a little
food sitting around
munching
all
to
over the
do.
place.
Yeah. Oh, these turned out so good.
Now, I've never... have I had a proper beignet?
Well, this is like a beignet
This is like
hack.
a hack.
You know,
Semi-homemade.
it's not a proper beignet, but
Can I
look,
eat
don't they
one?
look good?
Can I have one?
I wanted to tell you, too, you know, not only, you know, can these be deep fried, but they can be made in the air fryer, too. Oh, yeah. So not only do you get all the yummy goodness, but it'll be healthy for you, too. Somewhat. And all those little scraps, you know, those little scraps that we cut off. Fried dough, baby. Look at them. You love these. You like that? It is good. It is really, really good.
Oh my God.
That was our last holiday vignette.
It was.
That was a lot of fun making those.
Way to go out on a powdered sugary note. It's everywhere.
Yeah. Well, thanks everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you. It was a pleasure to talk about this with you. And like I said, we didn't cover everything. We're not professionals. We do have a lot of lived experience, and we both do work in the field. You know,
And the lived experience is probably the trump of it. You know? I spent more years in addiction and recovery than a lot of pros who went to school for both.
You know, it's true. Yeah.
So that's what works.
Yes.
From our perspective.
Yes.
Well, thank you all for watching. Please do subscribe, hit the like button and the bell on the way out so you get the alerts when we have a new video and also when we go live. You can follow Mark and I on Facebook at SmokeySteveAndMarc or on Instagram at SmokeySteveAndMarc or on Twitter at SmokeySteveA. Our email address and our contact info is all listed down below as well. Thank you again, and Mark and I will catch up with you tomorrow for New Year's Eve.
Oh, yes.
A very special caretaking
very special
New Year's Eve.
one. Oh, yes,
Yes.
I can hardly wait.
Yes, I've been planning a little bit.
He has. Remember, everybody, stay safe and stay well, but above all else, stay positive, all right? See you next time. Ciao.
Bye.